So a lot is currently being made of Cristiano Ronaldo's return to Manchester United, and that got me thinking, who are currently the best number 7s playing in the Championship? Let's find out. Guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today I have compiled every number 7 in the Championship into a ranking from worst to best in my opinion. Now this is a difficult video to compile as obviously we're comparing people who play in different positions, so different things sort of have to be taken into consideration here, but it's all just for a bit of fun at the end of the day. Let me know down below what you make of my rankings and what you make of the number 7 at your club. Now I believe that only one Championship club doesn't have someone assigned to the number 7 shirt, and that's Bristol City. So we're going to be going through 23 players in today's list. As always, if you do go to enjoy, make sure to leave a like. If we get it 400 likes, that would be massively appreciated. And if you'd like to see me do this for any other squad numbers, let me know. But without any further ado, let's jump into it. Starting out at the bottom of the list, we're going for Blackpool's Oliver Sarkic. He had quite a bit of pedigree as a youngster. He came up through the Anderlecht Youth Academy. He was then picked up by Benfica, got a move to Leeds at one point, but since then, his career's just sort of dwindled out really. Last season he had a loan spell with Mansfield in League 2 where he was injured for the majority of it, and he's yet to really show Blackpool what he's capable of. 22nd on the list, we're going to go for Coventry's Jordy Jones, purely because he's just not played enough football over the last couple of years. Obviously of no fault of his own, he's been out with a really serious injury, and it is nice to see him now back on the football pitch. But we're just not really sure what he's capable of doing at Championship level, which is why he finds himself fairly low down on today's ranking. 21st place, we are then going to have Preston North End's Tom Bayliss, obviously a former Coventry player who is currently out on loan at Wigan Athletic. Another player who we're not really sure what he's capable of at Championship level because Preston haven't really given him much of an opportunity to shine so far. I'm hopeful that this season at Wigan will be the making of him, but I mean, yeah, things haven't quite panned out like a lot of us would have hoped. In 20th place, we're going to go for Blackburn Rovers' Cardra. He's come on loan for the season from Brighton. Another one who finds himself fairly low down on today's ranking just because we're not really sure what he's capable of. Now, the player does have quite a bit of pedigree to him. He came up through the Borussia Dortmund Youth Academy. He was then picked up by Brighton. But most of the football he's played so far in his career has been youth football. He's only made 2 senior appearances so far. So this is a player who will probably be able to know a little bit more about come the end of the season. And the same can be said for Mipu Orebeko, who's come in as Huddersfield's number 7 this season, coming in on loan from West Ham. The vast majority of his appearances have been in youth football so far, so this season at Huddersfield is really a chance for the 18-year-old to go ahead and prove himself. 18th place, I'm going to go for Kamel Josriak, I think, of Derby County, because I've just not quite been convinced of him yet from his performances at Derby. Last year was really quite an inconsistent year for him. He only scored the 1 goal for them in the league in the end. I think he cost them just shy of £4 million as well, so they did shell out quite a bit for him. He does have his redeeming factors. I mean, he is like a fully fledged international now with Poland and things like that. There have been a couple glimmers that Derby fans have seen, but there's quite a few like Josriak on today's list who just need to nail down that consistency. 17th place, I'm going to go for Cardiff's Leandra Bakuna. The thing about Bakuna is he can have his moments where he can be very good and a game changer at this level, but it sort of feels like those moments for him are now becoming fewer and fewer. I think it's probably not helped him the fact that he can be so versatile and he's played in, you know, so many different positions and things like that. It's not helped with his consistency, but I'm always a little bit unsure about Bakuna really. 16th place, we're going to go for Nottingham Forest Lewis Grabban. Had I been doing this video a couple years ago, he would have been significantly higher up on this ranking. Now, Forest fans, I mean, where do you place more of the blame at? Do you place it on sort of Grabban, or do you place it on the system which isn't allowing him to sort of thrive? I think it's probably a bit of both really, isn't it, if we're being fair. Grabban has been a fantastic striker in the past. He has been that guy to get 20 goals for you, but those days seem fairly behind him now, don't they? Coming in 15th place, we got Peterborough's Sammy Smodics. Now, last season in League 1, he was absolutely prolific as he scored 15 goals and got 6 assists. This season, he's really got a bit of a chance to prove himself, to be honest, because he was never really given the opportunity to do so at Bristol City at this level, so this will be a really interesting year for him. Another player coming in 14th place who I'm interested to watch out for is Hilovich, coming in as Reading's number 7 this season. Now, I thought that that Birmingham would have looked to snatch him up because there were only sort of a few glimpses of him that we got to properly see in the Championship last season, but there was some promise there, you know, there's no doubt about that obviously. Hilovich in years gone by was a player who was built up as sort of the next big thing at one point. His career then seemed to hit a bit of a brick wall and he's now looking to rebuild himself. Reading's been a decent area in years gone by for creative number 10s to thrive though, so it'll be interesting to see if he does get that chance this season. Coming in 13th place, we got Luton Town's Harry Konig. Now, he was quite a frustrating player last season because he was doing everything right, but he just couldn't quite get that final touch right. He only scored 1 goal in the Championship last season, which by his standards was fairly poor. He's already gone better than that this season, as he scored 2 for Luton so far this season, but I think he's quite a useful player really. He can stretch the opposition, got bags of pace about him, and yeah, at this level, I think he's a fairly decent player. Slap bang in the middle of the list, we're going to go for Swansea City's Corey Smith. Now, Bristol City fans will know, keep Corey Smith fit, and he's a really good player. I think he'd do a job for most teams in the Championship, to be honest with you. It's just all about him keeping himself fit and injury free. Good player in the middle of the park and will always put a good shift in. Coming in 11th place, we're going to have Hull City's number 7, Malik Wilks. Last season he was absolutely central to Hull's promotion as he scored 19 goals and got 8 assists, and to be honest with you, he was probably like their best performer in that second half of the season when they went ahead and got relegated. He scored 5 goals for them in that second half of the season, so has been a decent player at Championship level before, and he'll now be looking to get himself back from this latest injury and go ahead and prove himself that he can really do it, because I still think there's something that's really there with Wilks. He's still a young player, he's only 22, and from the times when I've seen him in the flesh, I've been impressed most times, to be honest with you. Coming in 10th place, we're going to go for Fulham's Naskins Cabano. He had a loan spell with Middlesbrough last season in the Championship, and Cabano's an interesting one because he probably won't go ahead and put up like ridiculous numbers in terms of goals and assists throughout a season, so if you look at his stats on paper you might think, oh, he's a little bit ineffective and stuff like that, but he's a really tidy footballer who just pops up with moments now and again throughout the season. Really skillful player on the ball, and he's been there and done it at Championship level before. Coming in 9th place, we're then going to have Middlesbrough's Marcus Taverner. Now, I quite like him really. I remember speaking about him before the season in one of the videos that we did in terms of players who have got a bit of a point to prove this season, and I think that with Taverner, to be honest with you, he's going to be looking to get his numbers up. I thought that his performances in general were pretty decent last season, but his highest goal scoring season in the Championship to date is just 3 goals. That's something that he'll be looking to improve on this time around, but as players go, yeah, I do rate him. Coming in 8th place, we're then going to go for Barnsley's Callum Britton. Always know what you're going to get from Callum Britton. He's fit into this new wing-back system really well at Barnsley and has really taken his chance in that position. 42 appearances for them last season, 5 assists in that time. Very useful player who gets up and down on that right-hand side. Coming in 7th place, we're then going to go for Stoke City's Sam Clucas. Now, I quite like Clucas, to be honest with you. He's got a really good left foot. He absolutely loves a goal against his former side Swansea, doesn't he? And he's surely not afraid to celebrate against them either. He's got a goal in him and he's capable of breaking the lines with those passes into the final third. So yeah, decent player Clucas. Coming in 6th place, and perhaps a little bit controversially so, but I am going to go for Sheffield United's Rhian Brewster because I still back him to come good eventually, regardless of his goal scoring record so far for Sheffield United. Even so far this season in the Championship, I don't think that he's particularly been utilised in the right way. I think that because of the players they have in the final third at the moment, there's a bit of a reliance on Brewster to maybe go against what his natural game would be, and he's sort of being relied on to be one of the creators in that forward line when he's on the pitch, opposed to being that sort of poacher in and around the box where he was so good on that loan spell with Swansea. Once things click, he could be brilliant, but I do accept that at the moment we're not really seeing that. 5th place, we'll go for one of the most exciting number 7s in the Championship so far this season, and that is Tahith Chong, who's been absolutely lighting things up for Birmingham so far. I'm really excited to see what this loan spell has in store for Chong. That Luton game particularly, when Birmingham put 5 goals past them, was a particular highlight, and some of the goals he was involved in that game. I think all the Birmingham fans realise that they've got some player on their hands now. Coming in 4th place, I've then gone for QPR's Stefan Johansen. Now, I think that in the end, QPR did some pretty good business to get this deal over the line, because I think that he probably could have done a job for Fulham this season, to be honest with you. Even with the options that Fulham have in midfield this season, Johansen would have still been a more than capable option for a team, you know, going for automatic promotion this year. He's a really classy operator in the middle of the pitch. He'll be up there this season for key passes, I'm in no doubt about that. QPR fans know how good he is. You guys know how good he is. He deserves his place high up on this list. Coming in third place, I've then gone for Bournemouth's David Brooks. Now, I feel like people are a little bit split on what they make of Brooks at the moment, really, because last season things didn't quite click for him like a lot of us thought they might, and so the emphasis really is on Brooks this season to be one of Bournemouth's main men. You know, last season there was maybe a little bit of a reliance on Danjuma in the final third. Well, this season it shifts a little bit to that right hand side and with David Brooks, because he has had moments at this level, but can he consistently do that? Because when he is on his game, I mean, he's one of the best players in the Championship, isn't he? Now, my top two were incredibly hard to split. I think I've gone with my heart in the end, but coming in second place, I have gone for Millwall's Jed Wallace. Consistently in the Championship over the last 2-3 seasons now, he's been one of the best wingers in the league. Especially when you take into account that apart from Wallace, Millwall's attacking stats aren't really that great, and at times it does feel like he's doing a lot of the work on his own, but from dead ball situations, from carrying the ball into the box, scoring goals, setting up goals, Jed Wallace is just the complete package, isn't he, for what you want in an attacker and in a number 7, and Millwall are very lucky to have it, because like I've just mentioned, consistently he's always up there in terms of the numbers and level of performance. But that does mean snatching the number 1 spot. I'm coming in as the best number 7 in the Championship. We've gone for CR7, not Cristiano Ronaldo, but Callum Robinson. The thing that maybe just pushed Robinson above Wallace in this ranking was the fact that Robinson has had a little bit more experience in the Premier League. Obviously, he scored a few goals, mostly against Chelsea. But Robinson's absolutely brilliant at this level. He's already shown that for West Brom this season. He's fit into this new style of play. I'm probably a little bit biased because he used to play for Preston and he was unreal in that final season with us. But I think he's one of the best attackers in the league this season, and that goes far to say that he's probably the best number 7, albeit between the top 2 there's not much in it. But guys, there we have it. Those are my rankings for what I make of each Championship club's number 7. Do you agree with my rankings? Let me know in the comments down below. But as always, this video was just for a little bit of fun. If you did go on to enjoy, make sure to leave a like and do stay tuned for some regular Championship content. Apart from that though guys, thanks for watching and I'll see you all in the next one.